Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, you guys. I know I'm late today, but the schools were open late because of the snow here. And unfortunately, that means I had to be late today. I couldn't come on here while the kids were here because it's a lot of noise. It's a lot going on. Hello. So I want to say hi to you guys first. Hey, Lucky. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what time you came, but thank you for stopping by. Hey, Dragonfly Jones. I appreciate you coming in. We here. I appreciate you coming. I want to get into what I want to talk about today. Hold on. Let me show you guys a couple of pictures that sparked my interest because did you guys watch the Super Bowl? Put a one in the chat if you watched the Super Bowl. I watched part of the Super Bowl, and then I waited for the halftime show, and then I came back to watch the halftime show, of course, because I'm not trying to miss that, right? So I watched the halftime show. I didn't see anything egregious. Like, obviously, they sang My Boo, they sang all the hits from the 2000s, and I just realized that Usher had a very good run when I was young. So it's like for him to be able to do the Super Bowl and the halftime show, and for us to be able to see all the hits and him being able to bring all those people to actually perform with him, even though it was more like a medley, it was amazing to me. I really loved it. I was excited. My mom, oh my God, I know y'all gonna laugh, but my mom is a very big Ludacris fan, like ridiculous, right? This lady was bending it over to the front and touching her toes. She is in her 50s. I was so tickled. I was like, wow, I've never seen her move so quickly. She was not playing. As soon as she saw Ludacris on the screen, she was like, Luda. I was like, ma'am, you're 50 now. This is not like when you were in your 40s. Like, come on. But she was not playing about Ludacris. I was so tickled. So I was like, okay, mom, enjoy your part of the show. But the part that I wanted to talk about today is the part where him and Alicia Keys sing My Boo, which was my favorite song when it came out. Like, I sang that song like it was my song. I sang that song like it was my song. I loved it. I loved their energy in the music video, right? So when I is way later and they look so good, I was like, ooh, I knew they were gonna do it. Like when they said Alicia Keys was gonna be there, I was like, I knew they were gonna do My Boo. I knew it. So I was happy. I enjoyed it. Fast forward to yesterday, I see that there's this big uproar on IG and Twitter. They or X, they are very offended for Swiss Beats because Usher was hugging up on Alicia Keys. And I was like, it wasn't even that, like, it's not like they had a sex scene. It's not like they were kissing. It wasn't a kissing scene. Just them singing this particular song, My Boo, and them hugging. They were like, oh, he was hugging behind her. That's disrespectful to this man. So I was like, oh man, that's interesting. So I look to see what Swiss Beats has to say, and he says, y'all are missing the point. Y'all are missing it. These are two powerhouses that we get to see performing live at the Super Bowl, and y'all are focused on the wrong thing, which is exactly what I was thinking. I was like, they tripping. This was fine. It wasn't even that. I thought it wasn't that serious, but I have seen channel after channel now discussing this, and then I've seen meme after meme. So look at this. Can y'all see that? They're bringing up Keke Palmer's baby daddy because y'all remember when he had the residency in Vegas, Keke Palmer went and she had that infamous dress on with her Derriere sheer. I'll say that. It was sheer. And they were siding with Darius when he was like, but you're a mom though. He was shaming her publicly and everyone was on his side, right? Except for me. I was like, you're wildin', chill out. But they were very upset about that. So now they're bringing that up here to be like, look at Usher. He's out of pocket. He does this to everybody's woman. He doesn't care who it is. And I was like, y'all are kind of reaching, because in that situation, Darius said that he did not approve, even though he was not her husband. Moving on. He said that he did not approve of that, right? But Swiss Beats completely had no problem with it. And the problem that I'm seeing is other people are putting their expectations and their principles onto Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys' relationship, and that literally makes no sense. So they're like, oh, if you're not someone that sticks to your principles, you'll excuse this because they're a performer. And then if it was your real life, you would have an issue with it. It's not about our principles at all. If this man says that it is all right for his wife to do this, those are his principles. You have no place to say that he's wrong. That's not your wife. That's not your business at all. So they're ready to die on this hill, talking about, oh, it's a wife and a husband. It doesn't matter if the husband says that it's okay. The principles are the principles, and he shouldn't have let her do that. It's making him look soft as a man. It's making him look weak. Other men are going to try Alicia Keys now because he excused Usher doing this. And I was like, I have never seen the men reach so much. I have never seen so much of a reach. Like when Will Smith was doing all those kissing scenes and sex scenes with women, everybody was like, he's a great actor. Nobody said, oh, Jada, poor Jada, la, la, la. However, now we fast forward to today. This man is doing a performance where he didn't kiss on her. He did hug her, but so like, that's where I'm at with it. So he can hug her. Her husband says it's okay. So I just think a lot of these men are out of bounds. They are out of line trying to tell Swiss Beats how he's supposed to handle his wife. It's weird. And a lot of these guys aren't even married. A lot of these unmarried men are so offended for Swiss Beats. And I'm like, where's your woman that you can defend and tell what to do and make sure she's not hugging up on nobody? So something that I thought was even more funny. They tried to say, okay, you're excusing this, but if your man were to do a performance of Korn and he had a gay sex scene, would you be okay with that? This is apples and oranges. What are you talking about? They're literally having sexual relationships in your description, in your example. And in this example, he's just giving this person a hug. Yes, it's from behind. Yes, you can say that it was romantic looking, but you can't say that there was any penetration. You can't say that there was any kissing. You can't say there was anything sexual at all. At all. So I just thought it was really strange that they tried to take that leap, like, oh, if it were a sex scene and it was, no, we wouldn't be okay with that. That literally makes no sense. And the difference in this situation is, if I were to be with a Korn star, I knew they did Korn when I met them. I knew they did Korn while we were together. There are certain things that happen in the Korn industry where you either are with it or they're going to leave you behind. They're going to do what they want to do. Same thing as the entertainment industry, like they're performers that sing and dance, right? So if I were with a Korn star and he was like, oh, baby, I'm gay for pay, that would be something that I would have to decide if I want to accept. And if I don't want to accept that, I have to leave. I can't make this man not do what he's going to do. Same thing for Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys. If he had such a problem with it, he could leave, but he did not. That is the key thing. He did not have the problem that y'all have. You all want to put your principles on this man because you feel that if your wife did it, you would have a problem. So his wife doing it means that he should have a problem. But there's plenty of things that people excuse in their relationship that other people would never accept. You get what I'm saying? Like there are dancers where they have these very sensual dances, or even the salsa. You're dancing with somebody else. A lot of guys would be like, "Oh no, you can't do that. I don't want to be with no dancer." Da, 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 da. And then there's other men who are like, "She's dancing. She's expressing herself. I think she looks beautiful." Those are the people that should be with the dancers. Those are the people that should be with the performers. Those are the people that are set in the mindset of they're doing what they love. This has nothing to do with me at all. I'm not going to make this time about me. And I believe a lot of these men are trying to make this special moment for Alicia Keys about them. And it's disgusting. It's gross. I hate it because she doesn't get opportunities like this often. Y'all heard that first note. I don't know if y'all heard it, but as soon as that first note came out, I gave my sister the look like, bitch, bitch, you think she's gonna mess this up the whole time? But she doesn't get opportunities like this often, and he didn't have to invite her to come do their song together. He didn't have to invite her at all. They could have gone on with all those other songs, made them a little bit longer, and we all would have still been talking about the Super Bowl halftime show. We would have all still been excited about it. But because of this one scene, I feel like it's overshadowing his performance as a whole, which was amazing. The outfits were amazing. It's overshadowing all of that. All the guest stars, amazing. It's overshadowing all of that and hyper focusing on a relationship where the person doesn't care. The person who was involved in it didn't speak out and say they were upset or they felt uncomfortable. The only people that have a problem are outsiders looking in. I just think that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Hold on, let me. Sorry, guys. I didn't click on the comments. I haven't seen you guys. Hello, handsome. Thank you for coming. Hey, Crystal. Exactly. It wasn't anything at all. Like, I could see if they tried to kiss, then I would be like, ooh, ooh, that's a little far there. But if they would have kissed, right? And Swiss Beats came out and said, I don't care. You know what I would have been like? Oh, no problem at all. There is no problem with this at all because her husband says it's okay. So y'all don't believe in swinging, a lot of you, right? Hey, Josh. Y'all don't believe in swinging, a lot of you, right? So there are couples that do believe in swinging. That's not a principle that you go by. So you obviously wouldn't agree with it. But if this couple's out there swinging, minding their business, it's not your place to tell them that it's wrong. It's not your place to tell them that they shouldn't be doing it. You wouldn't do it, la, 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 none of that. It's none of your business. So people can swing, and that's not a problem. T.I. and Tiny, they could be swingers and all of that. There's no problem with that. But then when this performer is up there dancing, and you know Alicia Keys can't dance. You know she can't dance. I've never seen her dance. I went to her concert. Never danced. She cannot. So he had to do most of the performing part because she's not a dancer. What you want him to do? Like dance around her like Chris Brown in that video? Like, come on. Y'all's expectations are ridiculous. He wasn't going to do that. She wasn't going to do that. They already rehearsed this. Now, do you think that they went off script at the end? I kind of believe they went off script at the end because she looked like surprised. But you know what? People are trying to paint it like, oh, she looked so uncomfortable. He was chasing her around the stage and she was trying to get away from him. And I was like, were we watching the same halftime show? Like, how did you get that out of this very short interaction? It was so short, minutes long, not 30, like a couple minutes. We doing all this over a couple minutes? Like, I just don't see it. I just can't see it. I think they're reaching. Thank you. This is my key point. People are always, always, always trying to force their own morality on other people's relationship dynamic, and it doesn't work. And it's always people that are single. Your relationship advice don't work for you. So why are you so much in their business? I just don't get it. It doesn't work for you. You are not with anybody. No one's agreeing to your standards. No woman, at least. No partner, at least. If you're bisexual or gay, no one's subscribing to your methods. So why force this on them? Why try to shame them? They've been happily married for a while now. The shame came before when he cheated on the wife with Alicia Keys. There was this whole thing. Shame, shame, shame. There was a whole, she lost her voice for a man, like Ursula's scene that they kept doing with Alicia Keys. Fine. I understand that. But this is not that. It's not. You can't make it fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. It doesn't make any sense. I just think that a lot of it is fake outrage, and a lot of these men want an excuse to be like, oh, these women have loose morals. These women will change at the whim. Like, if it's somebody that they actually think is amazing, they'll change their morals up for this person. Their morals are circumstantial. Most people's morals are circumstantial. You believe that as men don't have morals that are circumstantial, but a lot of these straight men end up going into the industry and they have the morals of they're obviously straight. And somewhere along the lines, they get propositioned for something that is not quite straight. And y'all know what I mean. And if the money is right, they say yes. They say yes. If the opportunities are right and they can get advancement in their career, if that's the roadblock for them, they say yes. A lot of them say yes. So it's not a woman or man thing. It's more like somebody using their power as into their advantage, honestly, over others. So if you have the power to determine if this person is going to get this opportunity and you're trying to quid pro quo them, like, oh, if you give me this sexual favor, I'll give you this role. That's wrong. That's wrong in every sense of the words, but I just don't see that in this case. I just don't see it like that. I think they both agreed to this performance. I think they both agreed to most of the choreography. I think at the end it was a little improvised. However, they didn't have an issue with it. Y'all are reaching. You're all reaching. And I know that you men wouldn't accept that for your wives, the ones that are married saying this. And I have no problem with that. I don't care. You don't have to accept that for your wife. I support you and whatever you and your wife want to do. But the problem is you don't support what they want to do with their wife, what Swiss wants to do with his wife. So you're the one with the problem. None of us have a problem with your morals and your principles. You have a problem with his morals and his parents' principles when you're never going to meet these people. They're not your friends. They're like, oh, if he was my man's, I'd be like, yo, you bugging. And I'm like, he's not your man's. He's not your friend. And you probably wouldn't be friends because you're so set in your ways that your friends are probably set in the same path, or y'all be butting heads all the time. So he probably wouldn't be your friend. And that is fine. But you cannot put your expectations onto other people's relationships. You cannot. It's crazy. Oh my God. Hello. Can I get some podcasts? That's a cute name. Tony Golden. Hey. Then they not straight. Okay, Tony. All right. Let's talk about this. Then they not straight. So he's talking about when I said some of these men will get propositioned for sexual favors in trading in exchange for a role or an opportunity, right? And he says, then they ain't straight. We can't tell these people that they're not straight. I watched this video, this podcast, where a man, brace yourself. So this man that has been married for years has been cheating on his wife with random men for a while. And he says that he is a straight man because listen to this because it's ridiculous. He says he's a straight man because he only sees their interactions as sexual. He doesn't have any emotional tie to them. So he says that means that he's straight. because he actually loves his wife, but he just screws these guys. That literally makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Bisexuality is the sexual attraction to both genders, both sexes. So, if you're sexually attracted to men and you're sexually attracted to women, you are bisexual. You are not straight. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how anyone says there's no such thing as bisexual men. Ignore them. You know that you have this sexual attraction to both men and women. You are not straight. It is a lie. You are lying to yourself and you're lying to your partner. I would be devastated if I found out years later I caught something, or he didn't pass anything to me, but he caught something because he was out here having sex with anybody that would. And this is the key. So he says after the first encounter of them having sex, he doesn't make them get tested over and over. So he ends up getting lazy and he starts trusting them. And it is what it is. They start having sex unprotected. And I was like, you don't know all the people that they're sleeping with outside of you. So you're exposing your wife to all of this extra stuff because you don't want to come out and say that you're bi? That is so weird. I was like, this is the crazy. I swear to God, that was the craziest interview I have seen. I was like, and he called in with this little voice changer thing. But I hope his wife knows his voice, because I would be like, I know that was you. I know that was you, and you need to get yourself and you need to go. Because there's a difference between somebody signing up for something. You tell them, hey, baby, I'm bisexual. Like me, I'm bisexual. My husband knew I was bisexual before he decided to marry me. He knew that. He didn't have a problem with that. If it were the roles reversed and I decided to be with a man that was bisexual, then I understand that that's what I'm accepting as a mate, somebody that is physically attracted to both sexes. They potentially might have this more of a pull to cheat. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have more opportunities to find somebody that you're attracted to if you're attracted to both genders. You get what I'm saying? I hope that made sense to you guys. Oh, hello, Sean Antonio. Yo, Dragonfly, I think it was a voice changer, OG. It had to be, but he sounded like a white man. Do with that what you will, but he sounded like a white man. And the way that he excused it was just so weird to me, because I know that bisexuality is about sexual experiences with both genders. So it didn't make any sense to me that he was like, "Oh, but I'm not gay, or I'm straight. I identify as straight." And what really annoyed me was they didn't give this man no pushback at all. They let him come on here and tell this whole story, talk about how he didn't tell his wife, talk about how he's constantly cheating with this little voice changer, and then give him no pushback at all. I was like, are y'all just sitting back listening because y'all can agree? Y'all can relate? Can y'all relate to this man? Because this looks weird to me. But yeah, they didn't give him any pushback. And I was like, wow, if he thinks it's straight, he's lost. He's confused, because that's definitely not straight. Yeah. But you guys, the whole thing was a reach. The whole thing was a reach with the whole Usher and Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats situation. These men are fake outrage. They're just looking for attention. They're just looking to have a reason to argue. And they want us to believe that we're wrong, the people that believe there's no problem with this. They want us to believe that we're wrong, because that means that our morals are loose. That means that if somebody were to proposition us, we would change our mind based off of the proposition. And I think that's a reach also. Like, a lot of people have to weigh out the benefits and the risks of opportunities that get presented to them. So if you're not doing that and you're like, nope, flat out, nope, flat out, nope, flat out, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. And you're welcome to do that. But you can't shame us for not doing that. We are going to weigh the pros and the cons of every opportunity that's thrown our way. Everyone. And if this seems like something that's not going to fit, it doesn't make sense. Like, even if you gave me $1 million, I'm not letting anyone penetrate my anal cavity, that's your business. But some women don't have that stance. Some women are fine with that. If the money's right, they're going to do that. And some men are fine with that. If the money's right, they're going to do that. So you can't be their moral compass. They already had Jesus, and he can't be their moral compass. So who are you? You're a rando on the internet that's trying to tell them they wrong, and you're not putting nothing in their pockets, nothing on their table, nothing on their backs. You're not clothing them, you're not feeding them, you're not financing them, you're not nothing. You're doing nothing for them but giving them a reason to be annoyed by you, giving them a reason to dismiss you because you clearly don't understand. And a lot of these guys, they are so against it because they're like, I believe in the Bible. I don't pick and choose what parts I agree with and what parts I don't. So then in that situation, okay, fine. You don't pick and choose what parts of the Bible that you agree with. So if somebody is lusting after your wife, that's a problem. Okay. But most people are not stuck on the Bible like you are. They're not. I know they say that America is a Christian nation, but that's irrelevant to the fact that that's what the higher ups are. They're the Christian nation. A lot of us down here, we somewhere in the middle. We have principles that are based off of Christianity because a lot of those things are taught when we are young, like do unto others as you have them do unto you. Don't kill, don't steal, these type of things. Okay, fine. We are on the same page there. But a lot of the rest of it gets murky. And if you don't have a strong belief in the Bible, you're not going to agree with every piece of it. And you don't have no heaven or hell to put anyone in, so you can't really tell them what is or isn't right. There's plenty of things that have not been added to the Bible that were from back in those days. And if somebody follows those practices instead of the Bible's practices, do you think they're going to go to hell instead of going to heaven? If you believe in that, if you subscribe. I just don't believe that at all. I don't believe it. I believe that as long as you are doing right by others and you're not harming others, it's not a big deal. It's not. And I think it's very strange. Rando, I know, ADHD, but I think it's very strange that back in the day they used to excuse the P word, Ophelia. That was completely common. It was completely okay. And then you fast forward to now, it's completely disgusting. We all are anti that. But back in the day, they were completely fine with that. As soon as she started to bleed, it was okay for you to be with her. So think about that. The same people that approved of the Bible, approved of these principles and these practices that you don't approve of today. Is that hypocritical of you? Are you a hypocrite now? I don't think so. I think you have a mind for a reason. I think you can pick and choose what you believe is right. That's why you can think. That's why we have freedom of choice, freedom of will. There's no reason for us to even there's no reason for us to even try to force our beliefs onto other people ever. It's never helped anyone. It's never made anyone closer. It's never made the conversations move forward. It's always been an issue when you try to force your beliefs onto others. Oh my gosh, world class. What are you doing here? I ask you that every time. Like, what are you doing here? Yes, I'm in the bed. That's where I do my fantasy thoughts. I just think about whatever I want to think about, talk about whatever I want to talk about, and it's in my bed. Today it's made up because it's way later in the day, but usually it's morning time and I'm still in the bed. So that's perfect. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about this because I feel like it's fake outrage. I feel like this doesn't make any sense. And I think that a lot of these men are taking this opportunity to try to shame women and shame, like, oh, one of the things that they are trying to tie this to is the work husbands. So y'all know how some people work in offices and they have a work husband, or the guys that work in offices, they have a work wife, right? So they're saying Usher and her hugged up was you and your work husband, or you and your work wife. And I was like, y'all are just creating this image for these men that already have a problem with their woman going off to the workplace thinking that they got a work husband there automatically because she's attractive and she's working with a bunch of men. You guys are feeding into this by being like, oh yeah, the work husband she told you not to worry about. Like, why do y'all have to do that? What is this benefiting? How is this benefiting you? How? I thought that was so crazy. Like, are you serious? Nobody sees it that way. This isn't no work husband, work wife situation. Oh, and they were dating back in the day. I didn't even know that. Did y'all know that they were dating back in the day? I had no idea they were dating back in the day. So they tried to bring that up as another reason, another layer to this for why it's not okay for them to do this scene where he's hugging on her. And I was like, even if we didn't know that they dated back in the day, Swiss Beats knew they dated back in the day. He knew when she went to this opportunity that she was going to be there with her ex-boyfriend. And he didn't feel threatened at all because he's secure in his relationship. He's secure in who he is as a man and who his wife is. And he knows she ain't going nowhere. He knows that. And if she does, he can't control that. So I think his response was absolutely appropriate. I think his response was very masculine, very manly. He says that he did not have a problem with it. He says that we were missing the point when we focused on that part and not on the bigger focus that these great stars all came together for this performance for us. And I could not agree more. So I know Tony Golden, you're saying, I don't know how he felt, but he already came out and said that he was fine with it. He said that already. Hey, Jordan. He already said he was fine with it, you guys. So it's a reach. It's a reach at this point to say, oh, yeah, he didn't really appreciate it. We don't know how he felt. He says that he was fine with it. So now, taking that knowledge that her husband says he's fine with it, her husband doesn't have a problem. Now, do you have a problem with it? Because then it takes it away from, oh yeah, the husband feels disrespected. That's why I'm speaking up on behalf of men. It takes that part away because the husband doesn't feel the disrespect. So you would have to stand on your own reason for why you feel this married couple can't act according to their own boundaries, their own morals, their own rules within their relationship. You would have to justify that. And you can't. It doesn't make sense. So I've listened to multiple men stances on this. I've heard them out. Even Illa, he didn't like it. He was like, I wouldn't want my woman doing it. Okay, fine. You wouldn't want your woman doing it. And a lot of men say the same thing. A lot of y'all don't have to worry. Your woman is not going to get invited to the Super Bowl with Usher. She's not. Your woman is not going to get invited on stage at all. She's not. If you have a woman. These hypothetical relationships where they're like, if I had a woman, you don't have a woman. You don't. So you saying, if I had a woman, I wouldn't want her to do, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You don't have a woman. No one's subscribing to what you have to say, not even in this hypothetical relationship. She would not be doing whatever you said. If she had an opportunity to meet Usher and dance with Usher, she's going. She's going. You don't have nearly as much to offer her as this opportunity to get her face out there and get her name out there. And you, instead of trying to hold her back, should be supporting her, I believe. One more thing. So what's crazy is, oh, Tommy B, exactly. This space is full of the most insecure men on earth. I wouldn't take their word for shit. For shit. Agreed. They're insecure. They're insecure as hell. And what's crazy is they were like, oh, would you call a man insecure if he said that he wasn't okay with this? And Love, I think her name is, was like, Well, I wouldn't say insecure, maybe delusional. When he was like, "Oh, what about delusional?" She was like, "Yeah, for lack of a better word, I would say delusional." And I was like, "No, girl, it's insecure. It is insecure. You do not feel secure in your relationship enough for her to be able to perform with a person that she made this song with decades ago and be all right with her performing it today because you are insecure. You should own that instead of you trying to make it seem like, oh, you can't call anyone insecure. When women are saying that they don't feel comfortable being with basketball players because they know that they have more likelihood to cheat because women are constantly throwing themselves at them, throwing themselves at them, throwing themselves at them. They're like, oh, that's your own insecurity. And it is. It is her own insecurity. So on the other side, it's your insecurity when you don't want her to take this opportunity because you don't feel comfortable with what she may or may not do after she's been given this opportunity. If you didn't vet her well enough, just say that. If you didn't get to know her well enough to know the things that she will and will not stand for, and to know that you guys are on the same page, just say that. Yo, Tommy, they could not be married to an actress. They couldn't. They could not be married to an actress. And they were, so this is another thing they were saying. So they were like, oh, some actors write in their script or write in their contract that they won't do any sex scenes, they won't do any kissing scenes because their wives won't agree with it or their husbands won't agree with it. They don't support that. That's fine. You can put that in there. But y'all already know, and I'm not trying to, actually, I am. I'm going to play the race card. Y'all already know there's very few and far between Black people that they want to choose for different roles. So y'all pulling up this white man that has this clause that he won't do XYZ because his wife said so is not the same situation as these Black actors and actresses who have been saying they've been underpaid and underrepresented and don't get nearly the same opportunities as these white actors and actresses. They don't get as many chances to say no. They don't. So I just think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for us to be like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do this. I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be me. La la la. It won't be you. It'll never be you. You're past your prime anyway. You can't sing, you can't dance, you can't rap, you can't play basketball, you can't play football. You're old. You're gonna break if somebody hits you on the football field. Like it's past your prime. So you won't be in that situation for you to shoulda, coulda, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. You wouldn't have. You won't. You have nothing to worry about. Focus on, listen to the rivers and the lakes. Stick with the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Don't be trying to chase these waterfalls over here. You don't fit. You don't fit. That's not for you. Yes, I'm just trying to tell the truth. They're wilding. They're wilding. I think that a lot of times they forget that different jobs require different things. Like naturally, normally, people don't support deleting people, right? Generally, we do not support deleting people. But when somebody says that their spouse is a soldier and they go overseas, it is completely accepted that they are probably going to have to do something over there that you would not normally agree to doing over here. You would normally not agree to them deleting somebody, right? But because they're over there and it's their job, you're like, they had to do what they had to do for their country, right? So we'll excuse away the things that we want to excuse away and then try to dump on the stuff that we think is just too far. I think of the two, if you're that stuck into Christianity, you should be against all wars. Thou shalt not kill. So you have no problem with these soldiers doing what they have to do, but you do have a problem with these performers doing what they have to do. It's a reach. No one's dying in this situation. No one's dying over here. Over here. Just saying. It's a reach. Anti-war clause. It's not an anti-war clause. It's a thou shalt not kill. So if that's kill, if you're killing, especially on behalf of somebody else telling you, like, oh yeah, go, this is your target, go kill them. You think that God is okay with that? This conversation is going way left. Way left. We were not supposed to get into this, but I don't think he would be all right with that. I just don't. And if he is all right with that, or she, I don't know. If this being, this benevolent being, is okay with that, then you think he's gonna have a problem with the Usher and Alicia Keys hugging? Really? And he's gonna excuse this because it's war, which men go to war over anything. Things that y'all don't even realize that the war is actually over: land, oil, water, stuff that doesn't belong to them, minerals, jewels, stuff that don't belong to them. They go to war over things that they want to steal from other people. You think God's all right with that, but he's not all right with a hug. Stop it. Stop it. Exactly. They go to war for resources that do not belong to them instead of paying for them. They will pay the billions of dollars for the war instead of paying the fees that it would take for you to export those minerals. They'd rather steal them. But they're so capitalist. They're only capitalist when it's in their best interest. Right. Thou shalt love the boobies with all thy heart and thy soul. Nicolation. You're silly. That was hilarious. As soon as I read that and I saw the Nicolations, I was like, yeah, I told y'all my thoughts. I told y'all my thoughts, Jordan. I'm just saying, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that it's a problem. I don't believe that they actually have a problem with this situation. I think they're just capping. They're trying to seem masculine online, I think. We never know their personal lives and the things that they do and do not allow their wives to engage in. So they'll be like, "Oh, I'd never let my wife go on a girls trip. I never let my wife go to a sip and paint. I never let my wife go what was the other thing? There's one more thing that they claim they will never let their wives do. But these classes are full of wives. These sip and paints are full of wives. Girls trips are a bunch of girls. You think they're only single women? No, there are wives there. So I just think they capping for the internet because multiple people have called men simps for letting their wives go on girls trips and they're not worried. They're not calling her all the time, making sure she ain't sucking some D. They're not doing that. So those are simps. Sip and paints. Their girls invite them to a sip and paint. They're not, oh, let me track her location. Let me make sure she doesn't leave this sip and paint with a guy. Like, they're not doing this. And a lot of times those men get called out of their names because they're very secure in their relationships. It sounds like the insecure men are the ones that are calling it out. I'm just saying. The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. I really appreciate you guys coming out to support me this afternoon. But it's getting late. I got to get ready to go get the kids. They had a late start and then they coming home at the same time. Damn snow. But I got to go get the kids and get them ready for the day. We're going to do ABC Mouse this afternoon. Help them work on their reading. Plus my man is here. So I'm trying to be up under him. So I don't have time to be here all day long. Thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe on your way out. I love you guys. Bye.